which returns me the output as a list of text string A, B, B, C, C, D, D, A. Hello, welcome back to Appian Interview. I hope you guys are doing good. So today in this video, we will learn how to create a function that returns a list of strings formed by concatenating adjacent elements with the last element wrapping around to the first. And it's an interview question. So without any further delays, let's get started. Cool. So let's start with an overview of our goal. Let's say we have a list of elements and we want to create pairs of adjacent elements. For example, given the list A, B, C, D, we want the output to be AB, BC, CD, DA. Now we need an input which will be a list of text elements. Okay, so let's start by defining a input parameter and call it list, which is going to be of type text and array, as it is going to hold a list of text elements. Okay, so before we add the logic to concatenate the elements, let's handle edge cases. If the list is empty, we should return an empty list. Okay, and we will do that using a bang is null or empty function to check if the list is empty, ri list. If it is empty, then return an empty list. Else we will set up the loop using a bang foreach function, okay, which will iterate over the elements in a list, in a ri list. Items is going to be ri list. So it is going to loop through each item in this list, okay, in ri list. And in the expression, we need to concatenate each element with its adjacent neighbor, right? But before we do that, we will use if condition to check if it is the last iteration using fb bang is last, which indicates whether the current iteration is the last one in the loop. Okay, if it is the last one in the loop, then we will use concat function and wrap the last element back to the first. Okay, so here we are concatenating the current element with the next element, right? So to get the current element, we will use fb bang item. Okay, and now to get the next element, we will use fb bang index, which retrieves the current index of the item being processed in the loop. So this fb index is going to retrieve the current index. But to get the next item, we will have to increment this index by 1. Okay, so let's add 1 to this. So when it's the last iteration, we want to concat the last element back to the first element, right? So now the question is, what could be subtracted from 5 to get 1? That's 4. 4 is what? That could be subtracted from 5 to get 1. And that is nothing but the size of a list, right? So here we are going to subtract the size of a list from this. Alright. So to get the size of our list, we will use length function, length of ri list. So this is always going to return 1 when it's the last iteration. Now we need the element which is actually sitting at this index, which is going to return 1. Now we have to retrieve that element from this ri list, okay, which can be done this way. Cool. If it is the last iteration, then do this. Else I'll just copy this, okay, and will tailor this as per the use case. So when it is not the last element, we will have to concat the current element with its adjacent neighbor. So to get the adjacent neighbor, we just have to increment the current index by 1. We really don't need all of this because this is always going to return 1 if it is the last iteration. Okay, I'll get rid of that, and I think a bracket is missing. Okay, I'll just format the code and will keep a list empty and test this rule to see what it returns when it's empty. So it's returning an empty list, which is correct. Now to actually see the output, you simply need to provide some test values. Okay, A, B, C, D. Okay, I'm gonna test this rule, which returns me the output as a list of text string A, B, B, C, C, D, D, A. You can also change the input list to test with different test values. I'll just change this B to E and test this rule again. This time this returns the result as AE, EC, CD, DA, which is correct. If I quickly add another element to this, let's say R, and see what it returns. This time it has returned 5 items, concatenating the current one with the next one, AE, EC, CD, DR, RA. So that's pretty much for the day. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more such tutorials. I'll see you guys in my next video. Cheers, bye bye.